meeting come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Indivisible. Good one. What, you want my yogurt? Oh, I was gonna say, that's in already. I have a couple of remarks. Two things came to me this past weekend, and one of them was that a couple of department heads, maybe more, have been approached about their budgets while they've been with their families. And I'd like to ask you for them to please talk to them during business hours and not on a Saturday or a Sunday or whenever they have time off. Just let them be with their families, and I would appreciate that, and so would they. And then the second one was a conflict of interest. And we have had past board members who have belonged to various organizations, committees. We are liaisons to various committees and town departments, and we have never recused ourselves on a budget process. Robert's rules, let me read that, because we voted at the beginning of the year to go by Robert's rules. And under the rules, in Robert's Rules of Order, in the newly revised edition, it's not number 11, this is, I think, number 10. It says, no member can be compelled to refrain from voting simply because it is perceived that he or she may have a conflict of interest. With respect to the motion under consideration, if a member has a direct personal or pecuniary, monetary, interest in a motion under consideration not common to other members, the rule in Robert's Rules of Order is that he should not vote on such a motion. But even then, he or she cannot be compelled to refrain from voting. That's Robert's Rules. And everybody has a right to question it. I'm not saying otherwise. But this board has tried to be very, very transparent. We've done things that we haven't done in the past, and I actually like it very much, and I hope it continues that way. But I think I'm insulted that anyone would think that I, personally, would not know the difference between whether I should or whether I shouldn't recuse myself if something came up that I felt that I had a personal interest, or in this a direct interest, monetary, in value. But I have to, that being said, I have to say that we are just in a budget process. We may vote on that budget to accept it at the table here, but this then belongs to the townspeople at town meeting. It is up to the townspeople to vote a budget in or vote the budget out. You cannot say, when you get to town meeting, you can't say, when it comes to the town budget, you can't say, I make a motion to amend the budget to say, I want $100,000 out of the highway department, say. Can't do that. It has to come from the bottom line. The only time you can do that is when it's a school budget. Then you can go line item by line item by line item, yes. I've already checked with the attorney, yes, that's true, and it's in the book. But you can, if you wish, vote a whole department out, like you did last year with, or 2 years ago with the police department. But it is your vote at the end of time. It comes to you. It is your decision whether the budget goes through or not, or for how much. Ultimately, it's your decision, okay? And so all we're doing is just saying, okay, we feel this, we've worked with this good, well enough, and we're gonna send it to the people. So it's up to the people after that. That being said, we're gonna move on. Open comments, anybody? Please step up to the microphone. Nobody? Okay, we'll move on. Additions to the agenda. Did anybody have anything new?
Something for cemetery committee.
Huh? You have something for the cemetery committee? Okay, and is it new or old business?
New.
New business. Anything else? Josh?
No, I'm good.
I'll entertain a motion to add this to new business.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to add cemetery to the, to new business. All those in, any more discussion? Anybody from the audience? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Let's see, departments. Town clerk's office. Just 1 minute, Nancy, please forgive us. I'll say.
All of these bills just say highway department, there's no real differentiation. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, it's under that.
Okay,
Yep.
go ahead, Nancy.
I think you all have a document that I gave to Katrina to pass out in your packet. We just want you to let us know if this is what you want us to do relative to cemeteries in the town clerk's office.
My question to this was, are we in a better place with proper mapping, for lack of a better term?
We're trying to get there.
Is there a lot more work involved in that? Okay.
This is, these are the things that have already always been done by the town clerk previously, am I not correct, or am I correct?
That's my understanding, but
Sandy, are they-
boards change and, you know, we
Well-
don't have anybody in the town clerk's office right now that's ever done cemetery duties before. So it's kind of new for us, and it's not our statutory duty.
Is there a copy for everybody in the audience?
I think it was in the packets.
Yes, okay.
Since it's your statutory duty and not ours.
Yes, it
We
is.
just wanna make sure that we're getting from you what our part is, and if you wanna change it or do something to it.
Well, the graves have always been sold by the town clerk, I thought. The cost for the grave sites is actually, yes, you should know them, so shouldn't everybody? But that is voted on at town meeting, correct?
And we need to change it.
Yes, that'll be an article we can work on when we get to the articles. Show the grave sites on the cemetery maps or at the cemetery as needed. That's always been done, correct? Take monies in to pay for grave sites. Yes? I'm asking you because you have been the town clerk forever and a day prior to, and like Nancy said,
Ina
at the,
hasn't even done cemetery things.
yeah, so
Maureen
see,
did it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I believe she did. And then, let's see, identify specific grave sites that are being purchased and type the deeds. And, yeah, and then follow through with the deeds being signed by the select board and record the deeds, that's all, yep. Order cornerstones with Teen Monument, you always ordered the cornerstones, right? Or-
Mabiati.
Well,
It's
Teen,
the same now.
same company, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Meet at cemetery if necessary to identify placement of cornerstones. Yep. Meet at cemetery when necessary to show grave site for grave marker placements. Make cards for card file system for grave sites sold. Maintain file system and record burials that take place in the cemeteries. And maintain and store, good lord, I can't speak tonight. Stores cemetery maps.
Right, another thing is you provide the map citing for the grave digger, which you do anyway. But
Is
you
that-
want to have that-
Okay, so you mean add one more?
You can add it, yeah.
What is it, Sandy?
You pro-
Provide?
You provide a map or locations for the grave digger.
A
Usually he
map
just
or-
comes in and gets a copy of that portion of the map.
Okay, but wouldn't that fall under,
It's not, he doesn't set the marker.
oh, that's right, okay.
I thought I was kind of covering that in the first one under 3. Because sometimes.
Oh, yes, show the,
Sometimes you show them to the owner, the purchaser, and sometimes you show them to the grave digger.
okay.
That, I kind of tried to cover it.
But
Well,
he
this
usually-
way
he'll
it's
just take a
explained right
picture of
out.
the map.
Provide a
He
map
has
or
co-
location for
He
grave
has
digger.
copies of all the maps
Yeah,
now.
so he comes in and you just say, just copy on it. This is where it is, or unusually,
Right now, he's really wants you to go out there a lot,
is he?
yeah.
He's
I
what?
don't blame you.
Say that again?
I said he's requesting that you go out there a lot now.
Yeah.
Because there's
Yeah.
a lot of mistakes.
So is there anything else that,
Well, this is the only thing I put on the agenda for tonight. I'm
no,
not-
I mean in this list, because,
Oh.
I'm not 100% familiar with,
No,
like
because
you
the,
are. Does this pretty much,
Pretty much covers it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because, my only, concern was that, there is a difference between what the town clerk does and what the cemetery committee does. And it's, both positions are very important. The cemetery committee doesn't just oversee, the maintenance of, you do a lot, so thank the town clerk's office and thank the, cemetery committee, you both do a great job, and as long as there's a separate kind of a thing, I like seeing it on paper.
I just wanted to get it clarified because we don't
Well, it's
need
hard.
two entities doing the same thing.
That's right.
And if you, it's like I
Yeah,
said,
and I had said to you, many times, we have to be careful we don't step on each other's toes, the cemetery committee toes, and I don't know what your job was, so I didn't know how to, you know what I mean?
And-
Direct the differences.
I think it's also important that you guys recognize that maybe we don't allow people to dig their own graves.
Right.
Why, who digs the grave?
I'm serious, I think that you
Oh, I'm
should-
sorry, I
I wish
didn't-
that you guys would make a motion or something and just make it end, because it's part of the problem.
Who's digging, I mean, is there people out there, I'm sorry, is there people out there digging their own
They
grave?
have, yes. Cremations,
And that is okay?
no, it's not.
Not just anybody.
You-
In the
what-
past, we have had people dig them for them. But we have not, like Emily can't go out and bury her husband.
Yeah, well, people are doing that.
So how do they have a BTP to do it? See,
Don't they
that's-
have to get one first, though? I mean,
Everybody
don't they
have
have
a
to get a,
BTP.
Everybody does.
yeah,
Yes.
so, what do you want the motion to say, that they
Well-
do not have the right at all? I think they have the right if they go through the state and get,
They have to have a burial.
Permit
transit
comes
permit.
from us.
oh, the
Yeah.
permit comes from you.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was the state.
No.
so they're not getting this permit?
Well, I think there's a misunderstanding. I'm not trying to, accuse anybody of anything that they're doing on purpose, but I just think that there's a lot of lax things happening now because cremations are obviously a lot less of a thing to deal with than a casket, so you can't choose to dig your own grave for a casket, but somebody has a small container with ashes and they kind of think, oh, well, I'll just go dig a hole and put it, but what's happening is some of them are buried in the wrong places and, it's just causing problems, and I think just having a line drawn that says nobody can do that is gonna solve a lot of problems.
They also sometimes will sprinkle the ashes. And I know there was a big problem because this one lady had sprinkled her mother's ashes in the wrong location. And it really caused her a lot of heartache when she realized it. So, you know,
I can't even imagine though, if people are burying their people and then it's in the wrong place, oh my goodness.
Well, but it's not so easy to see where a particular gravesite
I
is.
can imagine.
This is why Abiotti even asked to be careful and measure and map and so forth, because it's not as easy as people think it is to know exactly where it is.
right?
So I think it's just kind of innocent, thinking it's
Trying to
okay.
save money and
Yeah,
money or-
and it's, and like I talked to the gravedigger, and he charges $150, no matter if it's a casket or if it's a cremation or whatever it is. I mean, it's not a lot of money, and if has that part of it, then we've got some order, and we know what's going on, because he then brings us all the appropriate paperwork, you know what I mean? And it just funnels all through one place, instead of having
Yeah,
all this.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's one of the things that needs to be fixed.
I think that's part of the cemetery regulations, which the cemetery committee is updating now. And that'd be a good thing to put into the regulations.
and then the regulations come
Come to the
to
board.
ultimately here
Yes,
anyway, right?
Right.
So, so would you mind if we made that motion tonight
Well, Marilyn's here and she can you can just tell her
or
to.
do you
include it.
want, yeah, what's the board's?
I think
Let-
she
let's-
should add it to the
Yes.
current set of rules or
Right.
regulations that you're working on, and then the board can adopt all of
Yeah.
those in one fell swoop.
Yeah. Yep, all right, so that would be the consensus of the board at this time, that they be added to your rules and regulations.
Is there a time frame when you're gonna have that?
We pretty much have the draft done, we're just getting them in order so that like things are grouped together. So we should have them, let's see, our next meeting is the 4th, so we should have them to you like the second February meeting.
And we're probably going to be closing the cemeteries very shortly anyway, so
Oh,
I hope we don't have that much snow. so-
yeah,
but-
yeah,
After
we
Sunday.
normally do it after the first snowstorm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
It
did-
snowed
we had that.
yesterday.
Oh, I mean, come on,
I know.
We get snow.
when it sticks to the ground, stays there for a while,
Well, it just should be understood by everybody that it's not legal to do that.
without that thing.
Because if they're coming in with a permit, with a break permit, we know what's happening and we can talk to them. But if they're not coming in with a permit and they're just doing it, then they're doing it illegally anyway.
Yeah.
That's understood.
You have to
But
have a
that's-
ver- you have to have
People
a
need
Yep,
to
understood.
realize that. I don't think, they realize
Well,
it.
can that be one of your little articles?
The permit is required, I think.
No, it's
No.
Bronna,
It's
Bronna,
Yeah,
our
I guess
editor-in-chief
what you're trying
here.
to say is, I own a
our
family
wonderful
plot,
editor-in-chief.
right?
It's me.
I own a family plot.
I know,
I have someone cremated, and I just go to my plot and I dig a hole and put them in there. Is that?
No, because
Basically-
there's a law.
No, I know, but
No,
that's
that's
what you're
what's
saying is
happening.
You have
happening.
to have a
Happening.
very-
No, public cemetery.
Then I'm at a loss.
No, it's public cemeteries, like Tyler Cemetery, North Cemetery, all the cemeteries in town that we own.
Right.
Right.
And control. People are going in there, digging a hole and burying, their cremated loved ones. Is that what you're saying?
But on
And
a
they-
plot that they own, or that they think they
That
own.
they think
They
they own.
think they
Right.
are.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what he was
Yeah,
saying.
that's what
what
Mike
I
was
was
saying,
That's
yeah.
what-
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
No, that's okay.
yeah.
Well, then I think that an announcement may be from the board that it is the consensus of the board that no one really should bury their own family members, loved ones, whatever. I mean, this is a terrible subject, but on their own. And the town clerk's office has come to us, and the cemetery committee concurs that they're going to put that in their rules and regulations, that this will no longer be allowed. Is that enough for right now?
Yep,
Is that good
that's
enough
great.
for now? Okay.
And then,
Should
I
be
think I'm on the
enforced.
agenda for a future meeting to talk about the funds.
Yep. Yes.
You asked me to research.
Yes, I did. Yes, and I appreciate that.
And at
And
that
you're-
point, we should be talking about a few incidents that we need to fix.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
How
thank you.
how we're gonna go about it.
Yes, I would appreciate it. I'll come in tomorrow because I wanted to talk to you about, my own personal thing.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, the only thing is the enforcement will come when we make this an official. And then it will be strictly enforced. Right, Bronna, come.
Who's going to be writing this article? I saw that.
Yeah, I like that sweater.
I know you do, that's why I wore it. A number of times at select board meetings and other meetings, people have said, oh, we can put an article in the newsletter. Yes, yes, yes. I'm waiting for information so I can at least write it or edit it. So should I be waiting for that information from in this instance, from cemetery committee or?
Well, for right now, it is a consensus of the board that no one bury their own family members or loved ones, friends,
Without-
husbands, whatever.
Without
Getting
a
in touch.
permit.
They have to have a
Yeah.
burial transfer permit. They have to have them. That's
Yeah,
the
they
state
have
law.
to, at this point, they have to have a burial permit, and they have to go through the town clerk's office. They can't just go out into a cemetery and dig a hole.
Right.
I mean, that's outrageous. But, yeah, and the cemetery committee will be working on the rules and regulations to be brought to the select board, and it will be then enforced. Okay. All right, moving on. Carol Hammond is not here. Yes, she is. There she is. Come on up, Carol. As you know, we all discussed asking this wonderful person, Carol Hammond, to do the town report for us. And Carol has a lot of news for us to handle. Go.
I
If you would,
assume
please.
you're referring to the email I sent.
I didn't get an email.
Yes, you did.
I know that.
I got it right here. All
Okay.
right.
Okay.
No, I really don't want to do it, but I did put down a few things that I thought, and I did talk with Cindy today, and we've come up with some ways that I think we can make it simpler and working together on it so that there's not a lot of the double stuff that we have done in the past of getting paper copies and then, so we can definitely work on that. The only thing that I will consider doing is if the school does their own town report, their own school report. They are the worst ones to get reports from, and I understand the whole last minute thing, but every year it was begging for stuff from the school, and it just, that takes a lot of extra time.
Can I interject something right there? I agree. I think that is an awesome idea. But what about when the articles, the warning and all that, that would go into the town side?
I think we'd still want that in the town report, don't
Okay.
you think? And, 'cause I was thinking about that just before I came down, and I think we'd still want that, in the town report. But then they can include it in their book if they wanted to, but I know a lot of towns, the schools do their own reports.
I think that the reports that the school, I think that's an awesome idea, but I think that warning and the whole articles and all that should be together.
Right, yeah, no, I agree with that.
I disagree.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Josh, you have anything?
Nope.
Go ahead, Mike.
I mean, I understand your frustration, and I feel for that, but I think that this board should work with the school board and ensure that they give us these documents in a timely manner to put it all together. Because now we're talking about doubling up on printing costs, doubling up on postage costs.
That's up to you.
Sandy, go. Do you have anything?
I think that if we did do a separate one, you'd have to have a separate, their articles separate.
Really?
Because they would be providing a school report without any articles.
Well, then that doesn't sound good.
And if you look at the old ones, when they used to do that, when you did have the two, they did have the two.
Did they?
Yeah, they used.
Well, that was way before my time.
It was
I
the
know you're a
18
lot older than, go
It
ahead.
was the 1800s, okay? But,
You don't remember that either?
I remember high school as
yeah,
Yeah.
it was,
as a separate one, but I never remembered the town.
yeah,
school.
it was a long time ago.
Oh,
before my
longer than my time.
So I think that if they did, they'd have to do their own articles, and I'll tell you, the articles are one of the worst things to get from them too, because they have a different time schedule. And so you never get them until the last minute.
Well,
If,
Emily, I'm sorry, Sandy, you're not done?
I
Go.
was gonna say, what if you said they had to do their own report? It could be included in ours, but we had nothing to do with it.
That would be fine.
And they have a timeline.
They have a timeline.
Deadline.
That'll be,
One of us could go to the school and talk to them. I mean, Mike, right?
I agree with Sandy.
Yeah.
They can do their own report, but if we can put it in ours,
yeah, and then.
and
then
they
we can
get it
combine
done in time for us to not have to kill ourselves to print it and mail
And if they
it.
don't have it done in time, then it's
Then-
really clear whose problem it is.
And then they're on the line because they're not gonna have their articles voted on at the
Right.
meeting.
I agree with you.
Emily?
Carol was gonna say something.
No,
No, go ahead.
Okay. I haven't gone through this process, so I don't know, I can't sympathize with you, I can't make any, I mean, I think Mike's got a good point. I mean, we've been talking about trying to better the relationships within town, and I think we've done a great job on this end. I'd like to see some cooperation with the school board as well, I mean, and if it saves us money, I'm all for it.
If the board don't mind, I don't mind going and talking with them and
no,
and
that's
enforcing
fine,
the
and they
issue
can
a
put their
little bit.
report together,
Yep, yep,
and then we'll just include it,
Right.
provided it's there in time.
okay. Does the board mind if I go? I'll go to the next meeting. Before we move on, quickly, because I wanna continue with what,
I have a copy of the district's finance committee meeting schedule at home. I didn't bring it with me. I could send it to you all if you want it, and to Carol. I got it from Mike Collier, who got it from the district.
and that's for,
That's a different, that's BUHS.
That's BUHS, we're talking,
No, it's both, because
Oh, they put
it
plan
has
in?
when they will be meeting with the school, when these open meetings are at the schools in the town.
oh,
I'm not, sure. We have questions, we don't even fully understand when
Yeah.
these open meetings are, like when the draft, but I will send it to you.
well, I'd appreciate that. I
Um,
appreciate that a lot.
I am in the process of trying to get a hold of either Mike Collier or Mr. Staley or somebody, and meeting with them to understand some of the questions that we all have, that you will have too.
Yeah, yeah, oh,
But
absolutely.
I'll send it to you.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Carol.
Okay, now, with the scope of what the outside auditors do, they do not do a town report, is that correct?
Right.
Right. I know.
Alright, now we had discussed this, I think, 2 years ago, when we were trying to figure out a way to cut costs on doing the town report. There's nothing that says that the town report has to be mailed to every resident in town. They just need to be made available.
That was me bad. Because I thought that it had to be.
Yeah, and it
But
does not.
all it says is that they have to be
Made available.
made available to everyone in
So-
town. Yep.
They could be on the not official website.
Yes, again.
And we could order half the number of books. We normally get 1,000. The last time, I don't know what the cost was last year, but the year before that, it was somewhere around 1,300 for 1,000 books. So, I mean, we could cut it in half. And I think what CNS did in the past too, because I had asked for a price on 1,000 and on 500, and they just cut it in half, whatever it was
Yeah.
I ditched all that stuff because I didn't think I would ever have to do this again, so I didn't save any of that information, but I know that I've got an email out to them and I just haven't heard back what the cost will be. And I thought that if we did that and had them available on the website, and that they would be made available, let's say at the town clerk's office, treasurer, library, whatever, that maybe you folks could announce that maybe 2 or 3 select board meetings prior to town meeting. That, because the books, whatever is done, whether it's internet or whatever, it'll be 10 days prior to the town meeting. So that, if that were announced, I think maybe, because a lot of people do watch the your meetings. Thinking of the size of the books, the 1,300 was for a 72-page book. If we wanted to cut down the size of the books, I mean, do we need written reports from each department? Do we still want, are the financials enough? Years ago, it was pretty much just
Well,
financials.
isn't that all that really needs to be in the town report is financials?
Yep. So that's something that would cut quite a few pages out.
I mean, I know that you've had to fight, well, not just you, but the auditors as a whole, would fight tooth and nail to get committee reports and stuff like that, and it was always a hard thing to do. I don't know if it's the board's pleasure.
Probably department heads would be delighted not to have to write it.
Yeah, I think
you
the
know.
financials are the critical part for that book, and if it saves, on printing, if somebody wants, to find out what's going on in any specific committee or board, attend a meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think?
I agree, but personally, I love reading all of the other parts, and
Wow.
I'm wondering, I do, I really do.
Yeah, he does.
I'm wondering if we could do this. The online version includes a much more comprehensive report with all of that extra stuff.
Oh, that would be good.
Whereas the printed format just contains the essentials you need for that town meeting.
Oh, that's a good thought.
What a good idea, Mike.
I think
That's why we want you on this board.
I
and
think it makes
appreciate
sense,
you.
but then it goes back to getting
Getting
those
the
people to get the
information.
reports
Well,
to
if
us.
they
it's,
don't
if
do
it's
it-
not
if they
in
don't-
there, it's not in there.
Yeah, and if they don't, they
Yeah, I
don't.
think it's voluntary.
Yeah, don't
It
hound them.
is. I wouldn't hound them.
I mean,
They
I
get 'em,
just,
they get 'em.
I like all the extra
I do
stuff.
too. I agree with Mike. I like reading it because, numbers are great, but
This tells our history year to
Well,
year too.
but it
in-
also
with-
tells you
within
what
the
they do,
departments and
what
committees.
that, it tells you what that money is spent on. And what these committees or what these departments do, what they're, what they've been up to for the last year, what they're planning
You know, all
on
of
for
the
the coming year.
calls they've gone on.
Yeah,
and-
I agree. I think it's a great idea if we can make it efficient, time, I
Right,
don't wanna
it's
spend
difficult for you.
tons and tons of time making two different
You're making two
versions,
different
but
formats.
you have even if it's just in an addendum or whatever, so that you have two separate documents. You have the financials, which is the town report, which goes to the printer, and that's one link on the unofficial website, and then you have the commentary on the town report, and that's a separate link, it's a separate document, and then that way, cause yeah, I have my binder that I have of the town report. It'd be a whole lot easier to find stuff at town meeting
Yeah.
if I don't have the commentary in here, but I still wanna read it. So I think that's a great, if we can,
Yeah, I like, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Sandy?
I think that's,
Yeah, I like that idea too, Mike, thank you.
but again, yeah, making it voluntary, not hounding them,
Yep.
The townspeople, we think, would like to hear, your report on what you've been doing this past year, what you've got coming up, but we're not gonna hound you on it. And if
Yeah.
it's not there, you're gonna hear it from the townspeople, not us.
Yep.
And how about the liaisons and the, to the department heads and the committees, talk to their people and ask them to get that started now, so it's ready. you know, by the end of the year or by, you know, whenever. But anyway, go
Well,
ahead,
I
Carol.
used to send out 3 notices, one the 1st of October, the 1st of November, and the 1st of December.
I know.
And they usually came in January. So, you know, it was, but no, that, I like that idea. I think that'd be a good solution. And if it doesn't work, then we can revisit it next year. Okay. I think that's all I had.
Well, I think there's a matter of compensation for doing that as well.
Well, that would be, because it certainly can't come out of Lister Pay.
Well, we have 1,300 for the printing part, we have 300 for mailing, and if we're not going to mail it, and we're going to, and there's gonna be less paper, because we're doing, the book is a financial part only, and the other is going to be, thing, why can't we, that's $1,600, and if we cut that printing down, we could use that as a, and a compensation for Carol for doing this for us. How's everybody feel about that?
And I've got a couple of people who have volunteered to help too, so.
Yeah,
if-
and I would certainly help in any way I can, and I'm sure that the rest of the board would as well. I don't want to volunteer them, but I will.
As long as it's not
I'm
during the
kidding.
day, Monday through Friday.
But no, we would help you in any way, you can call us anytime, I'm sure.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Carol.
so is it a yes, Carol?
Sure,
Thank you,
yeah.
Thank you, Carol.
thank you very,
Okay.
very much.
All right, so just, so with the school side, they would do their own articles within their report? Would
Well-
we still want it?
If we're keeping them together, then we could have them all together,
Okay.
you know.
And you tell me when you want, because I'll get a hold of them this week so that I can be on their agenda for the next meeting of theirs. And you tell me a deadline and I'll
okay.
give them a deadline to get
And
the
if they
stuff
know
to
that
you.
they have to,
They have to do it themselves?
otherwise they have to have their own warning, you
Yeah.
know.
Okay,
yeah.
oh, okay, I didn't write that down. Otherwise they'll have to have their own warning, okay. And their own book, and their own cost of that. All right, and, yeah, okay.
All right, very good.
All right, Carol, thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, next, fiber optic committee. Come on up, Bronna.
Unfortunately, there's 2 of us in the room who are on the committee.
One,
1, 2.
two. That's, I knew that.
Aye. Munson Hicks, our chair, is out of state. He's on stage in Boston, and Dave Andrews is working this week, night shift, so he cannot
What is
make
that,
it.
the Phantom of the Opera?
It's called Choice, and it's a
I see,
new
yes, very
play
good.
at Huntington Theater, and I have 3 comp tickets, and I can't find anybody to go with me before November 1st. Okay, anybody else? I'm not driving into Boston, it scares me.
I don't mind, as long as you
Okay.
don't mind riding with me.
We're blind.
Is that a
With
warning?
blinders.
I think twice about that.
I will take my glasses
Mike
off.
knows.
But he only drove to Brattleboro. Okay, we'll talk.
Okay.
And Martin Langeveld is not here. He's the clerk. Mike is the other member. Our last meeting was Monday, September 28th. It was a regular meeting. We met with staff from Millennium Matrix Communications Group, Ron Castle and 3 of his staff. They made a presentation to us about their capabilities and experience in building fiber optic networks in underserved areas. we are not necessarily an underserved area because we do have Comcast and fiber and Fairpoint, but we are underserved in fiber to the home. We were thinking before this meeting that we needed a feasibility study among our other residents, and he told us we don't need a feasibility study because he can tell us what is needed in Vermont and how to get it done. He also suggested we be in touch with Stan Williams of ValleyNet and up in White River Junction because he's involved with their consortium called EC Fiber. I'm reading from the minutes of our meeting because otherwise I wouldn't be able to. The EC Fiber Consortium is a group of about 40 towns, and that model could work for us, and more about that. Not all 40 towns, but a consortium could work for us. Their group uses two basic fiber optic architectures, Active Ethernet and GPON. Active Ethernet entails dedicated fiber lines to each and every home from a central facility in town. If you think about it, that's very, very expensive. Mr. Castle suggests a better alternative for us would be GPON. I don't really know what that stands for, but it's G, capital P-O-N. It takes one laser source and splits it 32 ways and delivers up to 1 gigabyte symmetrical. I don't know what that means.
Neither do I.
I'm the ignoramus on the group, and that's why I volunteered, because I figured there's more of us than there are of them in town.
That was my motto here.
And it could be, this could be raised to 10 gigabyte, which is, I guess, very powerful. It requires, what it does is one laser is split into 32 and can serve 32 homes instead of a 1-to-1 fiber ratio. Therefore, the main trunks or lines have less fiber and are easier to restore in case of breaks. The town of Leverett, Massachusetts, has a fiber network using Active Ethernet. It costs $65,000 per mile to install. Up in White River Junction area, ValleyNet has GPON. It costs $30,000 per mile to install. At this point in our meeting, Martin and I had a question: is how could he help us get buy-in in Vernon, given that we already have Comcast and Fairpoint, and how would we finance this? He suggested looking into a combination or consortium with other towns, and you can cross state lines, so he was suggesting Hinsdale, Northfield, Bernardston. Well, we were thinking Hinsdale, Northfield, Bernardston, and Guilford, along with Vernon. Then the question came up, what would Comcast do? The answer, they'd lower their prices, and that's what happened up in Burlington. So, who's going to want to give up their triple play that they get from Comcast to, when you have, with the fiber network, all you're going to have is internet. You're not going to have phone and video and television. So this meeting, by the way, in my opinion, was an incredible reality check. But on the positive side, we have, in our 25 miles of road in town, we average 37 homes per mile. To make this work, we would need only 6 homes per mile, and they don't all have to be on each and every mile. If we can build interest, we would only need 25% of the homes in town to take the fiber optics to the home. David Andrews asked a question about how is it going to be internally financed, and and one of the rules, one of the laws in Vermont does not allow bonding, municipal bonding by the town. It's financed by user dollars. And grants are minimal, they're very limited. If we wanted underground utilities, it would be more costly. So there's all kinds of things we're still looking into and still learning. Using the GPON system, the figure is $30,000 per mile for install. That's $1.5 million. With a consortium of towns, the system would be owned by the town, each town, and we could have it managed by Millennium or Sovereignnet. And then Millennium would, at the end of 20 years, they'd have a 20-year contract with us. They would sell it to the town, back to the town for $1. There would be economies of scale if you include Guilford. It would be more practical. The business model needs 6 homes per mile to break even. The next step, we figured among ourselves, as we sat in this room, is we need to take the temperature of the town. It actually needs to be a two-way street. We need to find out what residents want, and we need to tell them what we've learned. The elephant in the room is Comcast. Their presence would be the biggest hurdle. They do not want to provide fiber to the home for the town. The bottom line is we need 150 residents or 150 homes to buy in order for the system to work or to break even. And that does not include video or phone, as I said before.
Cable.
Or cable, yeah. Anything else?
I think the picture that they're trying to present is the cable medium is dying. More people are not watching TV, they're doing things on their internet. You're using programs like, not programs, but companies like Netflix and Hulu, and there's a armful of them.
Roku, or
Yep,
something like that.
all of those are slowly but surely taking a bite out of cable, and pretty soon it's not even gonna be profitable for them. Additionally, every user, regardless of how young they are to how old they are, is their bandwidth and data needs are increasing day by day. Technology is getting to the point where you can have virtual schools in your home, you can have virtual doctor's appointments in your home. Think of the benefits. I mean, the library's already doing things like that up there with their fiber connection. The benefits that the nursing homes could have with senior residents being able to just interact from your home. So all of these things are coming down the pike and into everyone's future, and fiber to the home is gonna facilitate that. Additionally, if we had fiber to the home, it would be a huge draw to get more people into town. Fiber to the home increases your home's value by, I can't remember how much.
$5,000?
Yeah, and there's all sorts of things like that. So you gotta look at the big picture. You're also gonna draw more industry into the town if you can provide fiber to their place. More people are gonna be working from home. Small businesses are gonna flourish. It's really something that could be beneficial to the town. And the costs, while they sound huge, are really not that bad at all when you look at the big picture and when you start consortiums with other little towns. So, like Bronna said, it's the committee's first task is to gauge interest in this and to see where to go and maybe start planning for Vernon's future. It doesn't have to be this year, maybe not next year, but eventually this is all gonna affect us very greatly. And if we've already got the infrastructure in place, it's all that much bigger of a thing. These companies, they'll come in, they'll build it, they'll maintain it, they'll support it, but it's ours. And then after a period of time, they'll give it to us. You know, do we want that? Because then we're responsible for building it or for maintaining it and supporting it? Probably not, but who knows? I mean, these are all just things to think about. It's a fascinating project that I hope people can really sink their teeth into it. And the other thing too is the speeds that we're talking about, these bandwidth speeds. Right now, if you've got Comcast, you're probably getting 50 to 60 meg when you download stuff. If you've got Verizon, you're getting less than 10. These guys are gonna offer you gigabytes. It's exponentially faster.
Now, can I ask a question?
Please.
I know you said per cost per household, what did you say that was? Would be?
Actually, I didn't,
I'm sorry, I thought you
but
did.
it's good, because it's $70 or so for Comcast per month. And up in ValleyNet up north, well, just for the internet.
Oh, just for the internet, okay.
Please, mine's over $125, and I
Yeah, well,
don't have a
mine's a lot more
television.
than that, for
And
some
I don't
reason.
use a television.
Yep,
ValleyNet up north is as low as $25 per month just for the internet. And the download time is faster and the upload time
of
is
course.
faster. And that's very, very important for businesses. And Vermont is a state that has the most in-home businesses in the country. And we're concerned in Vermont about keeping young people here. This is one way to do it. Another benefit is the school also has fiber optic, if we have a sick child and we have fiber to the home, that child is not necessarily going to be missing school. Could be very much video conferencing, much easier.
oh, wow, that's an awesome idea.
It's the same with,
I didn't visualize that, I was thinking, the child could stay home and just, but if they're sick and they have to stay home, that would be great.
and there's another option which totally blows my mind, is farmers can use this to see if they have cattle, to see their cattle, and if they're, if one of the cattle is about to give birth, they can figure it out. Don't ask me how, I can't figure it, but I guess the cattle are carrying cameras on them or something, so it is beneficial.
Yes.
I think probably out in Wyoming, more so than here, I don't see Jeff's corn worrying about it, but whatever. It blows my mind to
Never
think
know.
oh, we're about to
Yeah.
bloom here. But I think the point is, it is totally inconceivable of what it could be and the benefits, not just the price increase on your home if you're going to sell it, but just.
These sorts of things are popping up all over the place. There's like 2 of them now in Massachusetts. I mean, it's really starting to take hold, and it's popping up everywhere. So
If we, let me ask you this, if we did it as a ask them to come in and set up their own business, that actually would be a tax,
Revenue.
revenue for us, would it not? Or would it?
eventually it would, yes.
Right, okay. I mean, if we didn't take part in it.
We would be providing the service to the town, so we would be collecting the bills.
Oh, I see.
That's what I was trying to understand.
Yeah.
So like
Lots of times.
for a household
Yeah.
who has Comcast now, they would eliminate their current internet service provider and they would be on the fiber optic network, and they would, how much, like,
It depends on how many subscribers you have, it depends on the technology you use. It's difficult to say how much this is gonna cost or how much you're gonna save, because, there's gonna be some savvy people out there who know how to hook their phones up through the internet. So instead of using Comcast phone, they're gonna use,
Yep.
they're gonna do it that way. So they're gonna just, eventually everything's gonna go through that one wire, as opposed to, we're gonna get rid of cable, we're gonna get rid of phones.
but what I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, so then what happens to the household utility bill?
Oh, they pay the town for the internet, for the fiber. And one of the things is, after Millennium, or a company such as Millennium, after their 20-year contract,
Right.
the town can manage it themselves, like they were doing, which is not recommended, more staff, more administrative expenses, or we could continue in a contract with them or Sovanet or somebody like that. But
you're
the
collecting all
income-
the fees.
Right.
But the
So-
income comes to the town, and during the initial, during the paying off of that loan or whatever it is for the 101.5 million, the user fees go right to pay that down.
Okay, so we're not, so households, taxpayers aren't paying for it twice, once to raise the money and then every month to pay
No,
their bill?
no.
Yeah, right, no, and we're not paying a municipal bond either, because we can't in
We can't,
Vermont.
no.
Okay,
So
so eventually it
basically,
would become free.
The startup
sort
fees, that $1 million is coming out of your monthly utility fee.
Right.
Once it's paid off and they, 20 years,
Yeah,
whatever,
then it's like just maintaining, the cost of maintaining the system.
and then it's pure profit, except for that maintenance cost.
So Bronna, what does Comcast have to do with it? You said they're the elephant in the room, but really,
They are your cable now, your internet now, they, or, Fairpoint, and they do not want to bring fiber to your home. They may bring it as far as your street or the pole at the end of your driveway, but they do not want to come the final, in my case, 1/10 of a mile
See.
to my home, so they're not gonna want to do that,
We would
and
be
they're
their
gonna lower their
competition.
price.
okay,
We would be their competition,
okay,
because
okay.
everybody's gonna dump Comcast and join
Yeah.
this.
'Cause I'm saying, who cares?
Now, everybody that has
Me.
Comcast, if you use the internet enough, you know there's certain times during the day when your speeds go way down. The kids get out of school and they all get on the internet, your speeds all go down. See, with fiber to the home, you're not sharing that. You're gonna have that constant speed all the time, directly to your home. So Comcast, they don't wanna lose you, they're gonna say, well, your $70 a month is now gonna go to 50. Can the town compete with that?
We
So,
don't know.
it's.
They do that anyway, if you call them now.
If
If you went home and called them,
Yeah, would you call them for me too?
I know.
I do, I call them every year and I get my bill lowered.
Because I,
I'm
And then it
serious.
goes back up and then you call them and they lower your bill again.
Yeah, well,
new people
they
get
don't
the
ring.
130 or
$14.
125. Me, the older person that's had it for years and years and years, I pay almost $300, so, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
You do it
all,
for me?
it's a very fascinating little project and hopefully it will,
Yeah, so
Move
are
forward.
you planning to go to the, or ask us to go to the people soon, or is it gonna be after town
we
meeting?
still need to
perhaps?
get a lot of ducks in a row to be able to.
One of our ideas, we could do this, the big forum kind of thing at the school, or one I prefer is neighborhood meetings, like, Newton Hill Road, mine, or Breezy Acres, and just a small thing, like a couple of us go in talking to people and answering their questions and concerns that way. Maybe down the road, having it in a bigger forum, but actually getting people in smaller, more comfortable settings.
No, I think you are correct. I think smaller settings, like I could invite my neighbors to my house and have a,
It's such a topic that most people, I shouldn't say most people, but a lot of people don't understand. So the smaller the group, the easier it is to ask questions and to really educate people better.
yeah, that's a great idea.
And it's not a question of the technical stuff, because Munson and Martin and Mike and Dave especially have the technical stuff. It's more down home kind of, okay, how is this really gonna benefit me? And when we started looking into this, I didn't understand that, but now I see it's easier it makes it better for the people at the retirement communities to talk to their doctors, or the students at the school if they're out sick. And also streaming is coming in, and people are doing that more, and it's just so much, I think it's gonna help us go forward into the future technologically. And if we
Yeah, I
can,
couldn't agree more.
I think if somebody doesn't want it, the question then would be, would you agree to accept that some other people want it and not oppose it, would just sort of like stand aside.
Yeah, because it ultimately is the homeowner's, decision whether they want it or not. It's just like if I want cable or not.
Yeah.
Or Fairpoint.
It's
I
a,
mean
it's
Comcast
a
or Fairpoint.
subscription.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And what we need, a minimum of 150 people, households, 25, less than 25%.
Oh, I bet you'd get it.
Yeah, especially with the new families coming into, younger families coming into town.
And that 150 households, that was to make it work for our town.
Yeah. And that's another issue that we have to think about. Do we want to be a part of a 4 or 5 town consortium to make it really go? It'd be much more cost effective if we were. Because you only need 6 homes per mile, but I don't, and there are pockets in town, like you can't get to some parts of Vernon without going into Massachusetts or Guilford. Then why not include some of those people on that route, I don't know. These are questions that, who thought of that a couple of months ago?
Yeah. This is really awesome.
It's exciting.
Yes.
Our next meeting is next Monday, and Munson isn't gonna be there either.
Okay, so,
And-
the 26th? No.
Yeah, that's the
26th?
next, isn't that the next
Yeah.
school
I
board
don't
meeting
know, I
too?
can't see it from here, but
There's a lot going on.
Katrina has
Monday.
put, very nicely put a calendar right big, right here in front of me, but I always try to squint to see that one. I'm sorry, I really appreciate, yeah.
Wait a minute, I'm getting dizzy.
Okay, so it's the 26th of October. All right, thank you so much, Bronna.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, planning,
I attended the planning commission's meeting on Monday,
thank you.
or no, it was
Oh,
last
you're welcome.
Wednesday. They've got a lot of things that they're working on, but they asked me to come to the board with, they received an application for a new member. And that person is Maddie Arms, and they are recommending her, and they would like us to appoint her if we so choose.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Anybody? Motion's been made to appoint Madeline Arms to the planning commission. Do we want a friendly amendment to say until 2016? March 2016? Why do we need that? We don't need that, do we?
No.
Okay, why is that there? Okay.
But that-
Huh?
It's there because I put it there, but I don't think you need it.
I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't have
I
accused you
did.
or told the whole world that
I
you
would.
did that. Okay, motion's been made and seconded to appoint Madeline Arms to the planning commission. All those, in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, secondly, they have announced a date for the public forum that they'd like to have, which is going to discuss the proposal for a gas plant in Vernon. That forum would be on November 10th. At this point, I don't know the exact times. I'm guessing either 6:30 or 7. It would be in the evening. They are meeting tonight to basically do the final walkthrough, the presentation, all of the information that they're gonna provide. But again, it is for the proposed gas plant, and they would like the board to give them permission to have this forum on the November 10th. Additionally, they would like permission to send out a flyer to every resident in town to hopefully ensure that it gets publicized and they can have a good turnout, because I know there's gonna be a lot of questions.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
the motion's been made and seconded to allow the planning commission to have a public forum on the 10th of November. Also, to give them permission to send out a flyer just beforehand? Was that the motion? Okay,
It would
But
be
bef-
just beforehand.
Well, I realize, but before.
At some point prior to
Yeah,
November 10th.
sometime prior
Probably
to
as
the
quickly as
10th.
possible, because
Yeah.
the 10th is only,
Yeah, it's just
Few weeks away.
2 weeks
Yeah.
away, 3 weeks. But any discussion?
No, sounds good.
Sandy?
No, I think it's a great idea.
did we need to discuss, just looking at the administrative report, where it's coming from?
They have their own, budget.
I know, but
I don't,
Yeah, they do.
it was in the administrative report, which is why I'm just questioning it,
I
that's all.
don't think they have a line item for
They
that.
have
They don't.
supplies
They
postage.
don't.
For what?
For flyer.
They have supplies, postage, miscellaneous.
They have miscellaneous
They have
accounts, they have
$225
accounts.
for the and my other
It
suggestion.
doesn't have to say flyer account.
No,
I
no,
don't
I
think
didn't-
that's enough to get a flyer printed and.
That's what he was-
My
Here, but
next
right.
suggestion was gonna be that they have that line item for clerical assistance of if this was approved, and I can't remember if this,
Yes, it was.
then, and they're not using that $700 of clerical assistance as yet anyway, I mean, they could take it out of there.
Yeah.
Or there's professional assistance of $150, I don't know what that's for. I'm trying to think back to when we had the planning commission.
Wyndham, is that Wyndham
I
Regional?
think so.
Oh,
They
okay.
have, supplies, postage and miscellaneous.
What, but if it's not enough.
It's not
It's
enough.
$225, it isn't enough, is it?
It's about half of what they need.
Yep, it is.
There-
Well, then we can help them, can't we? I mean, can't we take it out of
Well,
ours?
if it's, can you use the line item for,
What?
Clerical, if it's not for that.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely you can. You direct the treasurer to where to take it from. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the line item we'll use. If that's okay to the board, consensus?
Cause I
No?
don't think they had used any at this point.
No, they hadn't.
No, so.
Any discussion from the audience?
So what-
Come
that
on
means
up,
we're not
Bronna.
gonna-
I might as well sit here. As of last week, they weren't sure if they could have it on the 10th.
it's been confirmed
Oh,
that they
thank
could
you.
have it.
So Janet, I'm gonna announce it in the newsletter, and some of the BVA is going to be doing the big red sign. So we've already volunteered to help them on that. They have some other logistical questions that they were going to address, I guess, tonight, because they expect outside the town people, and they were not sure what they were gonna do about those people and how they were gonna welcome their concerns and questions. But, so that's what they're doing tonight, right?
Oh, well,
Give 'em a vote.
not,
Among other things.
How many
that's,
voters left?
Yes,
the moderator's gonna be responsible
yes.
for dealing with that. And I know he is not going to be at that meeting tonight, cause he's at a meeting in,
Is this Tim?
No.
Oh, somebody else?
no.
Okay.
Bob,
Okay.
the chairman, is gonna moderate the meeting. That's been decided. But he is not at this meeting they're having tonight in regards to planning the content of the forum. But it has been confirmed that the
Thank you.
cafeteria is available on the 10th. I have that right here.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the public forum being on the 10th of November and postage being paid for the
Flyers and
flyer,
postage.
but, and it be taken out of the clerical if needed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. And
So that means we won't have a budget meeting that night?
oh no, we're gonna have a budget meeting right after.
As long as we're done by 8:30.
Okay,
We'll be able to do by 8:30.
all right, bills and warrants? I don't have a
I don't have
thing.
a cover sheet, where'd the cover sheet end up?
I don't have it either.
Should be on the-
If it's-
Do you have one? I didn't have one in my packet, so.
No, cause there was no attachment for
Let
the
me just
email.
double check that they match.
There it is.
Oh,
Give Katrina the person.
Thank you.
Where'd you get it?
I had them laying out here.
You did?
In my file cabinet.
Oh, boy, my file cabinet is not filed very good. I'm gonna have to use your copy after. Oh, Emily,
I
if you don't
sent it
mind.
to you.
You gave it to me, I'm sure it's here. I'm not good at filing,
I
keeping
spent
track of stuff.
all last Saturday filing my stuff. Okay. I make a motion that we approve and pay the following warrants. 15-16.7, accounts payable, $83,739.45. 40S payroll, $10,449.29. 41S payroll, $9,708.42.
Second that.
I need it,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't write them down. All right, motion's been made and seconded to pay, warrants 15-16.7, accounts payable for $83,739.45. 40S payroll, $10,449.29. 41S payroll, $9,708.42. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay, approval of minutes.
On the September 29th, page 5, paragraph right above the Transco Tax Stabilization Agreement. The question is about, Howe asked about junk that was close to the river and wondered if this was ever discussed or resolved. There is a flood officer, and that has my name in parentheses. I didn't realize I was nominated to that.
Oh, yeah, we did that. Were you here? We did it when you weren't looking.
to you.
No, I believe Dale Gassett got up and said he was the
Yes.
actual.
Okay, wait a minute, I gotta find that. What paragraph is that?
It's right above Transco.
It's the very bottom of the page.
Yeah, second
right
to the
above.
last.
Okay.
I mean,
It
I
was
know
Dale.
I'm on a lot of committees, but I don't
Change.
remember that one.
Flood officer
Doesn't mean
from Mike
anything.
to Dale.
You notice he spotted that one right off. Oh, well, we almost got away with it. Was there anything else? Would somebody make a motion for, September 29th if you have nothing else?
I
Go ahead.
move we accept the minutes of September 29th as corrected.
Second that?
All right, motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of September 29th, 2015, as corrected. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Any corrections? I would entertain a motion to pass these.
I make a motion to approve the October 5th minutes as written.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to accept, the minutes of October 5th as written. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Let's see.
Ayes have it, one abstention. Did I say that right? Close enough if I didn't. All right, storage room update. Nancy? And if I didn't thank you before for writing that all up, I'm really sorry. I hope I did, because I do appreciate it very, very much. Thank you.
we've been investigating the storage room situation.
Mhm.
And I'm just gonna give you an update, I don't have all the answers tonight.
Okay.
Basically, there are two entities we have to answer to. One is the State Fire Marshal and the other is the State Archives Division. The State Archives designates the fire rating that something has to be, and the Fire Marshal gives the permit, so they have to be agreeing with each other. So, right now, I have the State Archives guy discussing with the Fire Marshal. They're gonna come to an agreement about the fire rating. And once we have that, then we'll know what materials we have to use, because that's what determines the assembly of the walls and everything. So, that's in process. The State Fire Marshal was here today. Dale showed him the spot, took the tiles out, showed him what was above and all, and so he knows the whole scope of the project. And he's pretty sure that it'll probably only be a 1 hour rated situation, but he wants to make sure the archives people agree with him. So,
Did we ever, I mean, outside of this little section here, did we ever think of a different place, like maybe taking where the newspaper used to be, in that what's always been called the seniors lounge, 'cause where that part of the that room was, used by the newspaper and stuff like that. I mean, but this is the bigger section, is it not? I mean, I don't know.
I've had that suggested to me by 3 different people since the last meeting.
You mean
that
take
we
the whole
utilize
room?
part of that room. Not
Part of the room.
all of it, part of it. And it, I think, makes a lot of sense, cause the majority of that room is block wall. And your fire rating's a lot easier to obtain with block than trying to build it with.
Would it be feasible for you, when they come, to have them look at both? I mean,
well, first of all, we talked about the block wall today, and while what Josh is saying is the same thing we were thinking, because typically concrete blocks are fire rated.
Right.
But the fire marshal told us that in his experience, a building of this age, they didn't use the block that's considered fire rated.
I bet you did.
He said that if we got down to that, he'd have to drill a hole in it and look inside it and see what it is, because, and they kind of went back and forth about whether to get into that or just put slats and do fire code sheetrock and be
Sure.
done with it, instead of messing around. Because steel studs and fire coat on both sides will do a 1 hour rating, so we just have to do a little more investigating, but, I mean, I suppose there's another, we can look into that, but it's a whole start at the beginning again.
Yeah.
Because you have to take out, it's not just what's on, you can see, you have to take the ceiling tiles out
Oh,
and
yeah,
see
I
what you're in the
understand
that.
way of and
Yeah.
what,
Well, that, when it was suggested to me, I also said that we also have an administrator we're gonna be hiring that we need some room for as well. And, I don't know, we're going to have to take some room somewhere.
That's my only concern, is if you take the corner of what's now a decent sized room and turn it into this big flumpy L shape, for lack of a better term, it kinda diminishes what it can be used for in the future, where we have a room that's already kinda off to the side and has,
Well, you
3
wouldn't
out of the
notice it
4
was
walls
an L
built.
shape either. I mean, I don't think you would notice that it was an L shape, because it's really not going to be. It's going to be just that room actually would look like it was an extension of that room, would it not? I mean,
well, I think the way you're cutting it out, then you have, kind of an L-shaped pattern that.
of course,
I don't
because
think
you
it
got
would
2
feel-
walls
yeah, I
to
don't
go up
think-
like this. I don't
I
think,
don't think it would feel unnatural, but
no, I don't either.
but at the same time, I haven't seen the old newspaper room or senior room, so I don't know. I mean,
Did you count at during the last election?
No, I was
Oh,
on
no,
the
you
ballot.
were on the ballot, never mind, because I was gonna say, who
If you
sat in
took,
that room.
if you separated out that room though, wouldn't you be left with practically nothing on the other side?
I
Be a
don't
small
know,
room, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm
I
not saying.
think that there's not a lot of room there, I mean, it's not a very big room, and if you only took what the newspaper used, I didn't use it, I mean, I used the whole room when, you know, when the seniors weren't there or whatever, so that cause I had to have that whole room to get the paper put together, but, it really isn't a very big room if you look at it. I don't know if I used to have a key, I don't know if my key opens it anymore, so.
Your master key should open the door closest to the police department.
Huh?
Your master key should open the door closest to the police department.
I don't have a master key.
The one to this one isn't the same, is it?
And I don't believe that, no, I don't have the keys to.
I have a senior room key upstairs if you want it.
Do we wanna go and look at it? Or do we wanna stay with the plans? I mean, that wasn't set in stone either yet.
Right.
But,
Wouldn't
what
be-
do you wanna do? I mean, what's the board's pleasure? I don't, it's not up to me.
Well, can I just say one thing?
Please.
The floor plan for this room here, it would work out where if you put the door in the right spot, you could have shelving on two sides, sort of similar to how the vaults are set up, without the middle, obviously. And then shelving units could be set up for like bank boxes, to, you know, on both sides.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you'd have an aisle down the middle, and then you'd be able to get to your records and see them and everything. So that's how that would lay out. I think if you did that other end of that room, you'd just have way less room in it. You know what I mean, to actually store boxes of things in an organized
Well, I
manner.
don't know, I think it would be wider because you're not going all the way to the end of the wall.
What would be wider?
If you took part of the room in the seniors room, it would be wider this way.
It's gotta be the same width, because that back wall is the back wall for the seniors room, and you're coming out to the front wall of the seniors room.
No, it's not, because they only went, there's a section there where the light,
Can I
Plug-in
just-
is-
why don't we
yeah,
ask
let's go
Nancy
look.
if we could
Can
You wanna
you-
look at it? I'll
Yes.
go up and get the key.
I think we do.
But I think if you're gonna take, you might as well just take that whole senior room. I mean, what's gonna be left by the time you?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you
well,
can do
I'd
that
like
too.
to look, so let them, you know,
Okay.
but I like the idea of it building the two walls here, but,
Could we, while she's doing that, take the next one?
yeah.
Top property culvert?
Oh, yeah, yes. We're gonna move on. The Howe property culvert. Now, Sandy did call David, and David did come to the house. And what he did was, he left the culvert sunken because it actually worked to benefit. What he did was he took back just a small section of stuff that had kind of like built, or, you know, because it sunk, so it kind of humped up. So he sloped that down a little bit, and where the culvert and Pond Road meet, it really wasn't collapsed, it was full of dirt and everything, and they got that out and cleared that. I had asked David at that time if, because he had put, you know, the house just underneath the underpass, they have, the swall there is asphalt. And I asked him if he could do that, why can't he do that, you know, on that side, on one side of the property where my front lawn is. And he said that it collects a lot of dirt, so, I mean, that would be up to the select board, but I'm happy with what he did. And I appreciate each one of you allowing that to happen, cause I'll tell you what, and, I don't know, was it you that I was showing where the old Pond Road was, and,
No,
oh, I guess it was,
I don't think.
I don't know, you stopped in the other day, so I
My
wasn't-
memory works about
Yeah.
as good as yours, so.
Hey, wait a minute. That was an insult, I think.
That was a
Oh,
compliment.
I don't know though, I don't remember. I'm kidding. So, I mean, other than having David put an asphalt swall there, which would
He doesn't
is
think that's
something that
been,
I would like, but that I would never, I wouldn't, I wouldn't, wanna be sitting here while you discussed it.
he didn't
put
think
that.
that was beneficial because it holds on to dirt, is that what you
No,
said?
cause he said that it, yeah, it has dirt in it. I don't know what that means.
It might mud and clump or
No.
something maybe.
Nope, you can go to the house next door.
No, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying, okay.
So, I mean, I don't know, that is what I would like to see, because when they dug that out, and I believe it, I wanna say it was Dick Taylor, I believe it was, he was the road commissioner then. And, Lenny Peduzzi, I come home from work one day and Lenny Peduzzi was there just chopping away at my front lawn. And what used to be a nice slope, for where I could easily keep that clean and mowed down, is now I can't. You know, when he chunked it out like this, but that's, I would ask that, but I feel that I should wait until a couple of years when I'm no longer on the board, then I'll come back. Okay?
Okay.
We'll go on for 2 years now.
Huh?
Putting that on future agenda
Yes.
items for 2 years.
On the future agenda, March, 2017.
Yes, I will
I
do
will
that.
no longer be on the board. Anyway, so on the personnel matter, we had discussed,
Should we go to
Katrina's
executive?
pay. No, I don't think so.
No, I'm fine with it.
You were fine with it? Because we had discussed moving her up to $13.50 for the time being, and cause she's up for a pay grade, not a grade change, but a grid change, she's moving up. 1st of July. Yeah, because when she was hired, I thought the motion was for 3 months, she would be hired at $13 per hour. And then 90 days, was it? Afterwards, then we thought she was gonna be moved up to $13.50, but that wasn't the motion.
I went back and pulled the motion, but
Yeah,
that's not the
and
motion.
that's what you have, do you have?
Yeah, I think they've.
Yeah.
But we had discussed it last week, so, 2 weeks ago, so what would be the board's pleasure? Leaving her at her measly $13.21, and she's been there for years. No,
We have the money in the budget, right?
she doesn't use all her budget ever.
She's worth
She's
it.
very, she sticks lower than her budget, so that, and her pay grade is, what is it?
It's a
Five?
4.
Oh,
I'm a
4?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
Yes,
oh
I'm a
my.
4.
See, I tell you, I can't keep my stuff
It is what
together.
was and it is what was recommended by
Yes,
Harry when he did the job descriptions. I read the
yes,
I
it
read the
was.
report and it was what was recommended. So
so if we wanted to move it to $13.50 an hour, is that changing the pay grade to do so, or what? What is the motion that we would need to make?
Well, she makes $13.22 now.
13.22.
She's going to move to $13.87 on
Okay.
the 1st of July.
Okay,
So
So
she would still be within her same.
she would be in within her
Quartile.
quadrille, yes.
Well, just curious, why doesn't she change on, or why didn't, no,
No, because,
why doesn't it change on the anniversary date?
I don't know, that's a treasurer's question, not a measly
know.
select board member question.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's because of the way the budgets are done.
Yes,
Yeah.
because of the
Them adding
fiscal
something
year, July 1.
So,
I think she did say that, as a matter of
I
fact.
think that's the case, yeah.
Yep.
See, I didn't have to
Okay.
be here.
so the year that you reach whatever your next milestone is, so say it's 5 years, it's for the entire year of that fiscal year.
Right.
Gotcha.
Well, I'd make a motion to move her to the 1350. She's still in the same floor time. We have the money in the budget. And she's working hard enough for it.
Well, I feel she should have got it when she was hired. But that's not what happened.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Emily?
I'm just still trying to figure this out. So when she was hired?
When she was hired,
She was hired at 13,
13,
which is the minimum.
right?
And what's the new column? Because I haven't had time, I haven't studied this grid thing and what all the.
What do you
so-
mean, new, her,
The
she's
cost-
at 1322
right.
now.
So
That's
how
what
did she
she
get
did.
from 13 to 1322? You go from this minimum to new. I'm just trying to figure out what
I
these.
have no idea
Yeah, and I
how-
have,
how that
I asked
moved.
you that question
Yep.
too in an email, I have
Because
no
I'm
I'm
idea.
just wondering
The
how
point
you
was-
move up in your
Sorry.
grades.
Excuse me?
For the COLA raise?
No,
Oh.
no, she never was involved in that. But
Cost of
when we hired her, I thought it was to go to 1350.
I think it is the cost of living, you, 1 year, when I was here.
We haven't done it for like 3 or 4 years.
This
Yes,
grid.
I know,
Yeah, but it was different with you because you were within,
I do think that
Really?
it is.
it was within 2 years?
You did everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
thought
where
so.
it came from,
Okay,
that increase.
all right, thank you.
Cause I didn't move up in the grid, and, cause I haven't yet, done that.
Yeah, because I was told that nobody got a raise for the last 3 or 4 years.
It was the
Cost of
COLA,
living isn't really a raise.
yeah, it was the cost of
So
living.
do we do a cost of living this year?
That
Or
comes
do
on a
we not?
recommendation from the treasurer.
Yeah, but I would hope we would.
I would think something, that would be a
Well,
good
let's
thing.
look at the whole budget.
But the thing is, yes, but the thing is that if we do that, what happens is this whole grid has to change.
Right.
Okay, well, that's not the issue tonight.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
Any,
We have a motion on the floor that's seconded.
I know, any discussion?
No.
No? Motion on the floor. Thank you, Josh.
You're welcome.
Okay. Motion is to move Katrina to $13.50 an hour until
Effective
June
when?
30th. Excuse me?
Can you ask me effective when?
Effective immediately?
Because Cindy will ask that, so I wanna make sure it's.
Effective immediately. Friendly members, okay?
Yes.
Amendment is okay. Until June 30th, when she's got her,
Can I make some clarification?
go ahead. Why, am I sounding like a goat?
No,
Oh.
I have a lot of experience in payroll. If you say effective immediately, that means that whatever hours she worked yesterday, we're at 1322, whatever, so
Okay.
if you make it
Effective next
effective of.
The
pick
next
pick the
pay
first
scale,
day,
Payroll and.
payroll.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Say that again.
Alright.
I know what you're saying, but say it.
weekend date, or,
That is
you know.
another friendly amendment. There's 2 or 3 of them in there.
But we're very friendly.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to move Katrina to $13.50 an hour, effective the end of this payroll. Or beginning of next
The
payroll.
next week ending date, is that what you
Whatever.
said?
Yes. Until June 30th, when on July 1st, her grade will change. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right.
Ayes have it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so,
Roll call.
it is, thank you.
Field trip.
I need a, no, I need
Motion
a
for
recess.
And the safe's open too. You want to
Second.
see the safe?
There's-
Second.
Okay,
Well,
the motion's been made
I
and,
wanted to say I've never listened.
all right, motion's been made and seconded to take a recess for 5 minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, let's go. Move along, little doggies.
Investigation to see what's up there, and if
Okay.
it makes sense, you know. The last thing I wanna do is investigate 8 feet, and then we decide when we start laying it out that we need 10 feet, so we gotta come back a third time. Let's just investigate all the way to that bump out and see what's up there, And if it works, great, and then we just determine how much space we need from there.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
All right, thank you very much for what you have done already.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, we have a new business, cemetery. Go ahead, Sandy.
We would like to request appointing Chris as a temporary,
I'm gonna step out of the room.
you may do that.
Thank you. Mike, take over, please.
We'd like to ask that Chris be appointed as a temporary member on the board, of the committee. She's been on there before, and we need her.
So the cemetery committee is recommending that Chris be a temporary. How long is temporary?
First thing until next March, I think.
I
Mary
think
Lynn,
she's
are you
gone.
No, she's gone.
Okay.
Appoint her. I would appoint her.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to appoint Chris Howe as a temporary member of the cemetery committee up until the next election. Is there any discussion?
Why?
There's a lot of stuff coming down the pike that we need to do, and she has the experience, so we figure let's tap into her brain.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. Want to get Chris?
Yeah, I got it.
None of us want
Chris.
to.
She went home.
And she probably did.
I probably should have asked.
She's waiting.
That wouldn't make it an even number of people on the committee, would it? Okay.
Can we make a motion to adjourn for you?
Yeah.
That was funny.
What was that?
Nothing.
I was cleaning tape off the wall.
You've been approved as a temporary member of the cemetery committee until March.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
And I heard Josh made a motion.
We're done.
Oh, no. I can stop that action. I was reading Robert's rules. Guess who gets to stop that motion? All right, public participation with any agenda item. Anybody have anything? Please feel free, come
Can
on.
I just ask that you make the document that I typed up part of the record?
Oh, absolutely, that's a good idea.
Please?
That's a good idea.
That was your cemetery responsibility?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So you'd like me to list that in the minutes in its entirety? Got it.
Or just attach as an addendum. Save your fingers.
Yes, I think this is a good thing, and I think that it should be. Anybody else? Nobody has anything. What is wrong? Either, or so what's so good?
Is it good?
It's so good. I have no correspondence. And future agenda items is October of 2017.
So I have that.
Okay. Anybody else have anything for future agenda? Mike? No? No media? That's always a good thing. Oh, speaking of media. Mike, I got a call from Boston Globe.
We all did.
Did you? I wasn't here, so I didn't take it. Can I direct them to you to speak on behalf of your tax committee or whatever it is, that, the committee that,
I would prefer you didn't because I missed the last tax committee meeting, so I'm probably not as up as I should be on it.
yes.
We gave them a bunch of names today.
Oh, so thank you very much.
We told them you were away for the day.
Oh, okay.
And then they asked us for different people, so we gave them, I think we gave them Janet and Jeff Dunkley from the planning committee.
Mhm.
Carol talked to them for a long time,
Okay.
so I think they've got everything.
They've got enough
Okay,
then.
good.
All right,
I
good, good.
I wasn't at the last meeting, so
Okay.
I don't.
I didn't wanna, I mean, I don't mind talking to him, but I don't know.
What did they want?
He didn't say, he just said something about Mtg and so on and so forth, and I'm not privy to any of that
That's
right now.
another one of those committees, Emily and I are having difficulty participating because smack in the middle of our workday, and it's difficult to.
Well, can't they have it during the evening?
No, I request, well, we were supposed to have a meeting last week, I think, with, and Corey's from Energy. And I had requested if we could do it either earlier or later, but I guess he flies up, so
Yeah, but he's here overnight. He doesn't fly out until the next day.
It was coming, I don't know, for his convenience essentially.
Well,
It's
I
so
get
that the
that.
meetings are in the middle of the day, so.
Chris, it wasn't about the tax committee.
Oh, it wasn't.
No, they're
Oh, I
closing-
just assumed that he didn't
Yeah.
leave a message. He just said about Mtg. Yeah, please come on up to the microphone.
They're closing another plant. So
Ah.
there's a lot of interest in the fact that we have a plant that already stopped producing, and so Boston Globe's coming for a tour
Oh,
of VY tomorrow.
Was it I remember reading somewhere, it's a plant that a lot of the VY employees
Yeah,
went to?
some of them.
Or, yeah, some of them.
Pilgrim plan.
Yes, I was, yeah.
So they
really?
Yeah, so they were just asking questions about how it's affected us so far and different things like that. It wasn't
Yeah,
really about
It's still,
Yeah,
it's
that's gonna.
still,
It's
till
still-
19,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I thought, when I saw
Yeah,
that
it's still
VY
got 2
employees
to
went
3
there, I was like,
years.
oh, man.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't, I'm sorry, I apologize on my, cause I thought it was all about that, and I'm like, I don't know anything about that, I'm not on that committee, but, all right, well, can,
If it's different, he can call me.
okay. All right,
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
okay, motion's been made and seconded, no discussion is allowed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Good night, everybody, thank you for coming.